Hey everybody, Chris here. Thanks for downloading this episode of Fortune Comic News. Just a quick reminder, if you want to go that extra mile, go to patreon.com/Fortune Comic News where you can get the amazing Mike and that guy Chris show. $4 a month, that's 4 episodes, $4, that's $1 an episode. That's awesome. More content from us, and we appreciate you for doing it. Also, at $2 a month, you can get the Bat Friends podcast 3 days earlier than everybody else. That means you can be ahead of everybody on that one. But if you don't want to, that's fine. We still appreciate you listening. And if you could, go to your iTunes or whatever podcatcher you use, give us a 5-star review and leave us a review. It means so much to us. We appreciate everybody for listening, for reviewing, and all that. So I won't take any more of your time. On to the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortune Comic News episode 140. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside Justice League of Mike.
It's not the Justice League, it's the Justice Society of America. Wow. Come on.
I see Aquaman, so...
Is Aquaman in there? What is he doing in there?
Some dude with kind of a trident.
Oh, that's Magog. Remember him? Did you ever read the Jeff Johns JSA stuff?
I did not.
Oh, dude, so good. The good part's when Kingdom Come Superman shows up. So that's the best part.
I'm waiting for Jeff Johns to release his other comics on time.
Oof. Big oof. Well, before you listen to us complaining more about Jeff Johns, we back to the regular scheduled show. Just jump into the news, I guess. Unless anything exciting's happened in your life I need to know about.
No. I'm winning in fantasy football. Does that count as good news?
There's a long pause. I think I am too. I'm not going to check the score. It makes me so nervous. I keep going back and forth checking the score. I'm like, I can't. I stress out over it.
I'm in Pokemon mode because this Friday is Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I may or may not have taken vacation for Pokemon Sword and Shield.
That's a great segue into our other special podcast for all you Patreon partners out there. This week we will be talking about video games and Sword and Shield, and maybe even Crossing Swords. But you got to check that out on our other podcast for Patreon exclusives.
There's nothing better than some good sword crossing talk.
Pokemon Sword Crossing. That's a whole nother game. Anyways, all right, let's jump into the news. Have you watched Walking Dead still?
Yeah. So this week's episode was all about what Negan's doing since he left the community.
Right, he got kicked out.
And long story short, we get kind of the idea that Negan is trying to change, runs into somebody who still thinks he's Negan and likes that idea, and he gets Lucille back. And long story short, it ends with him face to face with Beta. So kind of a different way to get there, but a similar route to the comics as to what happened. And I think Jeffrey D. Morgan's been doing fantastic at the role this season. So yeah, it was a good episode.
Awesome. I am behind on Watchmen and Flash, so I got nothing to talk about for TV, but have you watched the third episode of Watchmen?
I did, and what I'll say is last week I was hard on it. This week I'll be a little bit easier because I really liked the third episode.
Oh, I heard, was there a lightsaber somewhere?
I don't remember a lightsaber, but...
I feel like, okay, maybe that's another episode.
It has all the things that Chris loves. There's a giant Dr. Manhattan dildo. There really is, but no, there's we follow Silk Spectre and what she's doing post superheroing.
Okay.
I don't know the woman who plays her, but does a really fantastic job at the role.
Mm-hmm.
And it did a lot of the things I asked it to do last week, which was prove to me this has to be Watchmen, and it proved to me it had to be Watchmen. There's a big scene with the gentleman at the mansion, that ties directly into Watchmen, the comic series.
Oh,
There's a lot of Manhattan talk. There's a lot of the relationship between Silk Spectre and Manhattan prior to him leaving Earth. And there's what she is doing currently is working for the FBI as an anti-vigilante task force. So when you first
pretty
meet
cool.
her, she's actually taking down a Batman-esque character.
Oh,
So
nice.
everything about this episode was great. It did all the things I wanted to do, all the things I wanted Watchmen to be, which was get into the masks of it all and the politics behind the masks and how things that have happened have affected this world. So I'm up on Watchmen now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure I will be too. I think I saw Ozymandias in his old costume, or at least I saw a screenshot of that somewhere, and I got happy. It's like straight from the comic.
Yeah, so I guess I could spoil that then. Yeah, the man at the mansion is Ozymandias or Osmandius, and yeah, and he gets in the costume. It looks goofy as hell, but it's straight out of the comic. So
I mean, it looks like he's doing a play or something. Just because we haven't really seen any costume characters like that much on the show.
yeah, so it was, and you get the idea that he's imprisoned, but not imprisoned.
Oh.
There's a whole sequence there that's pretty unique too. So yeah, a lot of cool things.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll talk about CW stuff probably next week. I did hear something cool about Arrow, though. You're not watching Arrow, right?
No.
That, like, this season started off with him back on the island. Surprise, surprise. I don't know, he's been there, like...
Every season.
And I guess, like, the end of every episode, they're talking about how the universe is being changed. So, like, at the end of every episode, they show how something's different about the universe because, like, the crisis is happening. And I thought that was pretty cool. So I might just go back just to watch, like, the last 30 seconds of every episode. But they said when they showed him leaving the island, do you remember when they had Deathstroke's mask, like, on an arrow? Or, like, sticking on a piece of wood, like they teased that early on when he was first on the island?
Yeah.
They said he was running off the island and there was a Batman mask hanging there. So it was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I think it's supposed to symbolize that other people have been to the island, but that was pretty cool from what I heard. I still won't watch it, but in case you feel like it. Let's talk movies because, you know, I really didn't want to agree with you about this, but damn it, Chris. The Batman cast, Colin Farrell is the Penguin, Andy Serkis is Alfred, and Matthew McConaughey is Harvey Dent. And apparently I'm going to be in this movie too. Do you want to be in this movie, Chris? Because everybody's going to be in this movie.
Yeah, can I be Condiment King?
Yep.
Okay.
That'd be crazy cool. I mean, you might as well. I mean, it sounds like... And I don't know. What? Well, I mean, obviously you need an Alfred. And I guess you need a Harvey Dent.
So,
I don't know.
With this news came that I guess this is going to be a trilogy. Surprise, surprise.
Right.
I love the Andy Serkis casting.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's a really unique casting for Alfred, and it could turn out really well. The Matthew McConaughey, like you were saying with Riddler, where they were casting him as Nigma, not Riddler, which for that character, it is what it is. But for this, I thought it was very important that they casted Harvey Dent.
Right, and not Two-Face.
So I feel like Matthew McConaughey, get a huge name to be Two-Face, and he could be the second or third movie villain. So I'm fine with that one. Colin Farrell as Penguin has to be the most puzzling thing I've heard in a long time.
Listen, I was not a fan of Colin Farrell as Bullseye in Daredevil. And I mean, that a lot of people talk about how bad that movie was, but Colin Farrell, I don't watch movies for Colin Farrell. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, like, he's just never been that actor for me. Especially because I don't know. Like, he's gonna be Penguin. Like, he doesn't really look like a penguin to me, but
Okay, so Colin Farrell gets a bad rap because there was a time when they tried to make Colin Farrell a big thing, and he's just not a big deal. And his
Dude, you're just not. I don't know what to say.
like he wasn't fitting it, and his bullseye was atrocious.
I never miss. It's like, okay, dude.
Except for when you do.
Except for when you miss.
I love Daredevil, but that's always the funny part to me.
Yeah.
Is like Bullseye's thing is he never misses.
He never misses.
Like every time he fights a hero, it's like you miss a lot, dude. Like you're like one step away from a stormtrooper. But
oh, God.
I don't think Colin Farrell's as bad as people make him out to be. I think he's a suitable actor. Like he can play a role and do a good job. He's just not a lead guy. I just don't see him as Penguin.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're going the whole, like, Gotham route where Penguin is a tall, skinny guy, which is the only time I think they've done something like that.
Well, Burgess Meredith, the original Penguin, wasn't very round either.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you could do that. Yeah, it's strange, but who knows? We'll see. You know, they tried to make Topher Grace big and buff, so... We'll see. It's just a very puzzling. Out of all the actors that have been cast, I'm okay with all of them. I actually like most of them. Mm-hmm. This one just puzzles the crap out of me.
Matthew McConaughey as Harvey. That's going to be interesting. It's like, we got another case. Harvey's like, all right. He's like got his feet up on his desk smoking cigs, like in his office. Like, dude, you can't smoke in here. What are you doing?
I could see Matthew McConaughey just like with his feet up on his desk with a fucking cigar in his mouth. Just
I could just see it. Like, I don't know. I could like his hair slicked back. Yeah, I think he can do it. He better drive a Cadillac.
So here's my question. So okay, obviously, movie one's gonna be Penguin,
right?
Possibly Riddler, but we'll say Penguin. Movie 2 or 3 is gonna be Two-Face. Are we gonna see another Joker in this trilogy?
I really hope not. I mean, if you do, it'll be teased at the very end of the trilogy, I think. I don't know.
Okay, so I think we will. At some point, they're going to do Joker. It's just.
Do you think it's going to be Joaquin Phoenix?
I don't think it'll be Joaquin Phoenix, though.
No.
Because Joaquin Phoenix is already, like, kind of... They want to do a sequel to Joker, and he's just like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
So... But my thing here is just like every comic writer, when they get Batman, they want to do Joker.
Right.
I feel like it goes hand in hand for movie creators too. Like you're gonna do Batman, you did Batman because you really wanted to do Joker. Like, So,
but I mean, there's all these other fun villains though, and like Penguin and Riddler. Like, make Colin Farrell squawk like a penguin, dude. Make him do it and give him an Academy Award for it.
See, I think with Colin Farrell being cast, I really do believe we're gonna go with like gangster Penguin.
Yeah, it just makes me sad.
Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I wonder if they have the balls to not throw out the Joker card. You have my appreciation there. Like that shows balls to say that, like, no, like we don't need the Joker. Like this is good enough without it. So, but yeah, a lot of casting.
Yeah, and there always could be the thing that WB told them they can't use the Joker too. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we're trying to do something with him. Don't touch him. You never know.
Never know.
Awesome. So let's finish off with the comic book news, I guess. Some of it's kind of puzzling, but John Layman has a new creator-owned title at Aftershock. It's pretty awesome. Called The Man Who Fucked Up Time with artist Carl Mostert. Awesome. And count me in, because that's how.
Are you a Layman guy?
No, I mean, he's a good writer. I don't actively seek him out, but when there's a guy messing up with time,
I'm a big Layman guy. I mean, I didn't really like Leviathan, but I loved his was Outer Darkness, and of course Chew. I mean, yeah. Anyone out there, check out Chew. It's a fantastic book. It's a really unique book. And this artist he's got here, Carl Mostert. I feel like I've heard that name before, but I don't know him. And the pages that were in preview are awesome.
Really?
Yeah, like this guy is going to be somewhere. Like when he's done with this book, he's probably going to move on to something huge if this isn't huge on its own.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. And perfect name. The Man Who
I
Fucked
know.
Up Time. Love it.
Yeah, come on. It's like I can't wait. I love weird time travel stuff, so I'm in. This was teased today. Well, not today, this week, but Tom King had posted a picture from Watchmen, so it's kind of yes, maybe like 80% certain that he's working on a new Watchmen project. I don't know. I think the hype kind of died down on Tom King for me lately. And I mean, we all know he did the whole button thing, right? So eventually he wanted to go back to those characters. I guess that's cool. Would you be interested in something like when you hear like Tom King, Watchmen, what do you think? I don't know. Like,
so putting aside the whole legal issues with Alan Moore,
right.
when it comes to Watchmen, it's always piques my interest. I checked out all the before Watchmen stuff. I'm actually, reading the plane crash that is Doomsday Clock. I stuck with the show longer than I would most shows. So when it comes to Watchmen, you immediately got me in. I want to know more to what the project is.
Right.
Like, my immediate thought is that, yeah, this is the sequel, or the sequel to the sequel, the button, but this is kind of the finale to the button, and it's going to be something titled possibly Watchmen that's set in the DC universe. But we also, we don't know if we'll ever get the ending to Doomsday Clock, so
right.
When we get that, I mean, we can make a more educated guess, but yeah, Tom King, it's a rough one. I mean, he's done so many great stuff, and obviously his Batman didn't pan out near the end. And we do still have the 12-issue series to see how he's ending his story. I get the idea that when he does something that's mini or maxi style, where he has a condensed story in so many issues, that he's very successful with it. And maybe he just got in over his head with the whole Batman doing 100 issues and this big epic story.
Right.
But we'll see. Right now, I would say I'm excited for something new Watchmen. The fact that Tom King's attached doesn't add to that excitement at all.
Yeah, I get that. And I guess that's you're great with the segues there. We're going to talk about what we read this week, and I can start off with Batman 82 by Tom King. First off, like, whole story aside, I do believe these last few Batman issues have been they're really milking the content, because it's like this issue is I don't know, it seemed like less than a normal amount with it. Like, if there's a lot of, I mean, it's just this could have been over, I don't know, I feel like they're spreading out one issue into 3 or 4 issues. That's what it feels like, because he's been trying to get to fight to Bane for 4 issues, and then he finally fights Bane and breaks his back, and then Thomas Wayne shows up and just shoots everyone. So that's how the issue ends. So he really didn't get anywhere. He shot Batman, he shot Bane, and he shot Catwoman. They're just laying there, and he's got a gun. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens next. But I feel like I didn't get enough content in this issue. I don't know. Really, really good book this week. I hope you picked it up. You're the Villain, King Shazam.
I didn't.
Oh, dude, so good. I had to talk about the artist and writer. The writer was Sina Grace, and Joe Bennett's pencils. The art on that book, absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's some awesome, really cool shots of Shazam in this book, and this, I mean, it's just great. Super jacked Shazam. It's almost like a Gary Frank style. Those hard lines, and it's just awesome. You would really like the issue because Shazam's like, I'm so strong, dude. I'm just gonna go fight gods. So he starts like challenging gods. Like he goes and fights because Shazam has the power of like which Apollo. So he goes and finds Apollo and he starts beating the shit out of him. He's like, I thought you were strong, dude, and like he just like beats the crap out of him. And then he goes and finds Zeus and he beats the shit out of Zeus. And then he starts going and fighting other gods like Thor and like all these other people, and he starts beating the shit out of all of them. And like meanwhile, the Shazam family's because like he's not just a piece of shit Shazam, he's a piece of shit Billy Batson. Like he was having dinner at the foster home, and he just starts telling everybody off because he's like evil, right? So, and they just played off as like, oh, it's probably one of his bad moods or whatever. Because normal Billy's kind of a jerk too, I guess. But Mary's like, I think something is up, so she goes and finds him and tries to fight him, and he actually infects her with the batarang that was used to infect him. So he still had it, and he stabs her with it because pretty much, I mean, they share the same powers. So at the end of the issue, Mary Marvel becomes infected now, and they say it's gonna be settled in the new Batman Superman book. So it was a really good issue. Yeah. Justice League 35. Did you read that?
Oh yeah.
Pretty crazy issue, right? The totality, I guess we realize is the big symbol in the sky now. The totality is up in the sky. And they see it on every Earth. Like every universe sees it in the sky. And then they focus on Gaslight Batman, right? Gotham by Gaslight, that world.
Yes.
And I forget what Earth it is. I think it's Earth 8, Earth 12. Not sure. But Perpetua shows up. And it's funny because, like, it's Gaslight Batman, but he has like a sensor, like a multiverse sensor. And I'm just thinking, like, he's like, yeah, I know about the other multiverses. I'm trying to contact everybody. It's like, that's pretty funny that, he's from like the times of like Sherlock Holmes, but he knows about technology. It was just weird. I'm like, that was kind of strange. But Perpetua shows up. She's like, yeah, goodbye. And destroy the Earth. That Earth is just gone. She just completely destroyed it. And I think that's like the main takeaway from the book is like, she's just going to keep destroying everything. I think issue to issue, she's going to start taking out universes.
Yeah, so her plan is to just destroy the multiverse and then use the Anti-Monitor to recreate the multiverse, but evil. Yeah.
So we might get some permanent changes here with other, like, there's going to be another universe that's evil now that should replace this Earth. So there might be something coming up where, like, some of the Earth, not all of the Earths are good, right? I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Like, you get some evil versions.
I mean, we're heading down a path to the crisis, and like they show Earth 3 in the Crime Syndicate, and they're just all excited about this,
right?
And they go through multiple different Earths and show the reactions, and then we kind of get the Justice League all together, being like, "Well, fuck, what do we do now?"
Mm-hmm.
The plan failed. Starman's dead, and the vision that came with Starman is coming true. So it looks really grim, but we end with Luthor being held to the task of Perpetua telling him, like, listen, I've given you all the power you need to defeat them. Now it's time. Go do it. Prove to me you can be my general.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get into kind of the gritty part of this where there's a big fight between Doom and Justice. Yeah, it was a great issue. Justice League's been amazing.
Yeah, dude, it has been so good.
And I don't know if you caught it, but anyone that's reading Justice League Odyssey, there's a sequence in there too where they show Darkseid, and he's surrounded by Azrael, Starfire, and Cyborg, who have been infected with the New God Plague and are now New Gods.
Oh.
And they've created their own pocket universe to protect themselves from this, and it seems like Darkseid's standing there going like, I guess we're not safe.
Yeah, right.
So
that's interesting.
So, on that, Justice League Odyssey coming right into this book, and definitely worth checking out.
Cool. Legion of Superheroes #1. Kind of interesting.
I didn't think you would read this.
Oh, yeah. I like me some Legion. The I mean, we talk about how Superboy's in it and how the Legionnaires pulled him out of the time stream and brought him to their universe. We get some other planets. There's like a planet Gotham where the heroes like take down this villain and come to find out he has a very powerful item, which I thought it's getting really interesting because the item ends up being Aquaman's trident, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, which was strange but awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know what that means. Like they're talking about recreating the oceans with it, like what can it actually do? So I think that was pretty cool. Like it wasn't just some stupid bomb or like energy capsule, you know what I mean? Like there was like an item from the past, like, oh shit, yeah, there's not an Aquaman. And they're like, and what did they say? The original Batman? And they caught on that again. They're like, wait, original Batman? Like, how many more Batmen are there? So I thought it was a cool issue. I mean, we see Superboy kind of gets the tour, and they talk about like what happened on Earth, how it's destroyed, and they're trying to like recreate it. But also, towards the end of the book, we see that there's going to be repercussions for them taking Superboy out of the time stream. You can't just take people out of time and bring them into your century.
Yeah, and those repercussions coming from the organization that Superboy started, the United Planets, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All in all, it was a pretty good issue. There's a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Be warned of that.
Yep.
But
I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
Except for like Starboy.
And they all kind of like... This is the tough part with Legion, and Bendis handles it pretty well in this first issue, but yeah, you don't know these characters. There's so many. Like, they even make a joke, like, your average Titans team only has like 6 to 8 people.
Yeah, right.
And he has to kind of explain who they are as they're doing stuff. So there's the guy who can create fire, who's basically Pyro from X-Men.
Yep.
And he has to like be like, yeah, I used my fire blast to do this, and that wasn't a very good idea. Move on to the next panel.
Right.
But that comes with the Legion. But I thought he handled it really well. It was a good first issue. I'll keep on with it. Yeah,
me too. Yeah, and then I had, let's see, Wonder Twins, number 8, I think, is the number.
Yes, number 9.
Number 9. Yeah, I mean, we thought Wonder Twins just, it's hitting all the notes of a good comic. It's got a lot of heart. We developed the story more of like, we find out where those people are going that were being zapped by the cell phone. They're going to the Phantom Zone. And then we learn the true story of like why the Wonder Twins left their planet, because their grandfather was an evil man and was like exploiting people and killing people, and they kind of were sent away because they didn't want to remind their people of that, and they were almost like embarrassed. And that's why they're on Earth now. Like they're taking a leave of absence, so people kind of wait for it all to blow over because they don't want to be associated with that. Meanwhile, the Scrambler is trying to unfold his plan from jail, and goes to send the email that like scrambles everybody, but it doesn't work because there's like a yard sale going on because that house was destroyed.
Yeah, and the server that had all the plans on it is not hooked up currently.
Yep. And then we get that cool side story where they go help Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
So that's like a day in the life almost, like a break from doing the tours. And then we get this whole origin of I can't remember her name, but it was like the calculator guy's daughter, and she talks about when he created this like AI back in like the 80s that wanted to destroy the world. And we're like, I'm sure this has nothing to do with the plot at all. And towards the end, that computer that got sold in the yard sale actually has that AI on there. So someone like brings it to their home, activates it, and it's like, yeah, let's take over the world. So I think that's where the next story arc will probably pick up.
Yeah, which is pretty funny that an 80s computer is going to be the next villain.
Right, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and with every issue of Wonder Twins, we get the moral of the story, which is every utopia is built on bad things.
Right, pretty much. And that's all I had this week.
So I had Berserker Unbound number 4, which is the last issue of the series. Mm-hmm. All in all, Deodato Jr.'s art, fantastic, but not the best story in the world. Jeff Lemire trying to do What If Conan Came to Today, basically. the whole book is all about how essentially language barriers can't, like, friendship can go beyond language barriers. So the two characters don't speak the same language, but they become friends. And then in the end, the man from our Earth ends up going to the barbarian Earth and lives with him because he has nothing left on our Earth. So all in all, it was a great kind of moral to the story, but the story itself wasn't great. There's a lot of good Easter eggs in there, and a lot of good like moments that could lead to something else. Like when they go back to the barbarian world, there's a bunch of different symbols, and they all lead to a different dimension.
Okay.
And so the guy's standing there going like, well, what are these other places all about? And the barbarian's like, I don't care, I'm going here. So I almost wonder if Lemire's building up something bigger here, but
probably
not the best book, but I enjoyed it. Miles Morales number 12. It's Prowler versus Miles Morales, basically. The backdrop to what happened with Miles' uncle having to get his Prowler suit back to save Miles earlier in the story. Good issue, not great, but I mean, we're leading to Ultimatum is the basic premise there. And then Daredevil number 13. Last issue, Mayor Wilson Fisk killed somebody, and now he has to clean it up. And we kind of get the softness of Fisk and who he is inside, and how he kind of, even though he's doing these things, he's trying to change, he's still like a scared little boy who doesn't like when people pick on him. And while that's all going on, we get Daredevil training with Elektra to get back out into the field. Zdarsky's been really great on this book. I've really enjoyed Daredevil.
Cool.
And then we'll get into the big two. New Mutants number 1. This is the new Hickman X-Men book.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad issue, but basically we have a group of New Mutants going to save one of their own from Shi'ar space. So this feels like where X-Men's Hickman's main title, this is his kind of backup story. And it's definitely going to tie in somewhere with the Shi'ar and what's going on. I enjoyed it for the most part, even though I have no connection to these characters and have never read a New Mutants book in my life. But all in all, this is the last of the X-Men books, I believe. Yes, because next week is number 2's startup. And I read 3 of the 4, and I enjoyed all 3. So I think this new X-Men's reboot has been successful so far. And I'm excited to see where it goes. But New Mutants number 1, if you're into the Hickman-verse X-Men, check it out. And then my last one was Undiscovered Country, which is the Scott Snyder, Charles Soule collaboration book.
Oh, yeah.
So there's some sort of plague that's taking over the world. And it's basically going to kill everybody in the world except for the United States, because the United States has created this giant barrier around them, both physically and non-physically, to keep them away from everybody else. And somebody inside the United States contacts the rest of the world and says, we have a cure. Let's bring in people and we can talk about how to build up the relationship again and all this. So we get our crew going into the United States, and they crash land outside the barrier, and they find these people who are it basically reminded me of Mad Max. Like, it's a bunch of people in busted up cars wearing masks, and this island outside of the States, and they're basically scavengers. Like, they'll attack anyone that comes near. When the story comes through, we end up meeting the guy who contacted everybody, and it turns out he has nothing to do with the United States. He's somebody named Sam, which, Uncle Sam. And he has sent for these people because he wants them to save the United States. So I thought it was a good first issue with a lot of intrigue, a lot of questions, a lot of puzzling entities for it, but enough to keep me going. And with who the final character is, being kind of a facsimile for Uncle Sam, and knowing that maybe everything going inside the barrier isn't as good as everyone thinks it is, makes for a good intrigue too. So really like this book. I guess it's like Image's best-selling comic in 5-6 years. So
Wow.
good on them. And definitely check it out if you got a chance.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
So, Mike, with that, where can people find you on those internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you, Chris?
Well, they can find me at Fortress Chris, and they can find everything we do on fortresscomicnews.com. And if you're listening to us on a podcast feed, remember to give us a 5-star review and leave a review so we can hear how much you like us or hate us. And if you're watching on YouTube, to like, subscribe, share, and all that fun stuff. Also, guys, remember, as Mike said at the beginning of the show, patreon.com/fortresscomicnews, where you can give us $1 or more to do whatever with. And you can get Bat Friends 3 days early. You can get our exclusive show there every week, and more goodies to come as that grows. But go there and show your support and go the extra mile, and we'll really appreciate you. So with that, we'll see you all next week.